All right. What's good, everybody? I was trying to get home to at least cover the fight. I was just walking in while we was waiting for the decision between Arsen Beck and Dave Allen, and just couldn't make it. But I'm probably gonna go live tonight for Jaron Ennis against Wisma Lima. I don't know for the whole card, but I'm definitely gonna go live at some point tonight. All right. Now, as far as this fight, Arsen Beck wins on points, unanimous decision. I think the judges did the right thing. I'm gonna tell you, as far as the way I had it scored 7-1 going into the ninth round. I think the ninth round on was rounds that I think Arsen Beck might have won a round or two in there, but at the end of the day, I stopped scoring it at that point because those rounds could have all gone to Dave Allen. You know what I mean? Those were the more competitive. I think the ninth to the 12th rounds were the more competitive rounds because Arsen Beck was very tired. And Dave, who was never consistent throughout this fight, would land one or two big shots and have Arsen Beck on the ropes. And those were the rounds where I could feel like, okay, maybe he's winning right now. I don't know. Plus, there was 2 points taken from this fight at some point in this fight. Those are rounds that he probably didn't even win. I'm talking about Dave Allen here. But at the end of the day, to give a quick recap of the fight, I think the first round that I gave to Dave was the fifth round, right? And then after that, up into, like I said, up into the ninth, I think Arsen Beck was up 7-1. Arsen Beck started out by using his jab and jab into the body a lot. Dave Allen was never really in the fight in the first half of the fight. You know what I mean? I just think his volume was way too low. Again, like I said in the breakdown, he just lacked the movement that the other guys that Arsen Beck lost to. When it comes to Adji Kabayel and Guido Villanello, those guys had movement. And Dave, low volume puncher, doesn't have good cardio. I didn't expect his cardio to be better here. But I felt that there was going to be a moment that Dave can hit him with a bomb and at least have this hand speed advantage. Dave never looked good in this fight. Let's keep it real. I think most of us wanted Dave to win the fight. He never looked good here. You know what I mean? And even though he beat Johnny Fisher and he had his moment, Dave Allen looked like how he did against David Price. When I was rooting for him to win there. It's just certain fights where he just didn't look that good. That's how I felt about him here. He never pushes it to the next step, and that's the problem. Like, he can have a fighter in trouble like he did against Makhmudov here in a few times in this fight, but he just never pushes the pace. He'll give you a moment and then he's going back to chilling again. You know what I mean? And I think that's the reason why he lost this fight. Now, I was wrong on my pick. First of all, I thought there was going to be a knockout here because I figured if Dave can definitely hurt him and get him out of here at some point, especially when he started going to the body. He did what I thought he could do. He just didn't do enough of it. And then when it came to Makhmudov, the same thing with him. I felt like Dave took a lot of sting away from his punches. But he was landing the uppercut. He was landing the straight shots. He was using distance and stuff. Like, he was boxing the way I felt like he needed to do it. But neither one of these guys could hurt, one or the other hard enough to put him down or put him out. You know what I mean? So I was wrong there. I did put money on Dave, but I aborted my bet in the eighth round, I think. And I put money on Arsen Beck, and I'm sorry I wasn't live, because when I live bet, if I'm on live, I'll tell you what I switched to. But I switched it to Arsen Beck to win on points, got plus 360, and then I threw a little bit of money plus 900 on a draw, right, just in case. I know there was a point taken, and I was like, all right, just in case. So I aborted mission, but at least I made my money at the end of it all. But yeah, I guess the fight was entertaining at the later parts of it, but to be honest, I can't walk away from that fight thinking any more of what I thought of the two before the fight. You know, like Arsen Black won to me. He clearly won to me, but I didn't think more of him for winning this fight. You know what I mean? Because at one point, I thought he was a monster, right? I thought he was more explosive than this. You know what I mean? Um, he just hasn't looked the same for some time now, you know, and now that he's resorting to boxing more, uh, I think all of these guys that's in the heavyweight division, you know, is going to jump on the opportunity now to beat him now because he looks very beatable still. You know, he's not as durable as he looks. You know, I know there's videos of him wrestling bears and stuff, but he's not as durable as he looks. You know, his cardio is not the greatest. And I think there's a plenty of those guys that's in the top 20, top 25 that would could take him out. You know, I'm talking about not even the top elite guys, but I'm talking about like guys like maybe a Lawrence Okoli, for example. You know what I mean? Uh, I can see there's a few guys, I can name a few guys out there that I think can take him out. You know what I mean? Even though they haven't looked great or they're not that proven, you know, I would love to see like a Richard Torres Jr. get that shot and that opportunity. You know what I mean? And I'm just giving examples. I can name a ton of people. I could go down box rec, but I think there's a lot of people, more than a dozen people that can beat him. And that's it. And when it comes to Dave, Dave never really looked good here. He looked slower. You know, I gave him before this fight, I gave him a huge hand speed advantage. He didn't look fast here. You know, and I think because Alsenbeck went to the body early with those jabs, those first 3 rounds, it was just mainly jabs to the body. Um, that just made him slower anyway. You know what I mean? Dave volume was like he just looked shot, and you know, and I think he gave us a good fight, a good moment with Johnny Fisher and everything. But at the end of the day, you know, it's not much Dave can really do at this point. Like, this is his level. That's the reality of it, you know. And I think people want him to be more than what he is, but this is what he is, you know. He's a solid fighter, but you know, I mean, his style is just, it's a lot of flaws in his style, and a lot of it has to do with cardio. He's a tough dude, you know what I mean. He's a good body puncher. He's a nice guy. He's a guy that you want to win, but this is where he's at, you know, especially at this stage in his career. All right. He's been around for a while, and he's been in the ring with a lot of tough dudes. You know what I mean? Um, but I'm sure we'll see him again, you know, and I'm sure when Arslan comes out, you know, he can be beaten. We know that he can be beaten, you know. So yeah, that's it. You know, I really don't have much to say about this. You know, I don't think these two are the elite, but I think it was a fun fight to watch. I know I was waiting for it all day. It didn't live up to the fun and excitement that I thought it was going to be, and that's mainly because of Dave. But you know, it still got a little bit entertaining. I would say in the fourth quarter of this fight. All right, so let me know what you guys think. Drop comments. And I'll see you guys again in a little bit. Peace.